Happy Thursday, everyone. Everyone okay?
All right, we're going to call the meeting the fifth session of the Charter Commission, September 22nd, 2022 at 6 p.m. in Pontiac City Hall chambers to order. Roll call, Ms. Granderson.
Burrows. Garrett. Killian. Payne. Ramsey. Stewart.
Present.
Turpin.
Present.
Williams.
Present.
Ibarra.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay, I need a motion to excuse Commissioners Ramsey and Killian.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
That you got. Second.
Seeing none, roll call.
Garrett. Payne. Stewart.
Yes.
Turpin.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ibarra.
Yes.
Burrows.
Okay. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda as it stands.
Move by Garrett. Second.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Payne.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Turpin.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ibarra.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Garrett.
Yes.
7-0.
Okay, motion passes. Now it moves us to approval of the minutes from August 25th, 2022. Is there a move?
Move. So moved. Lucy King.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, roll call.
Payne.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Turpin.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ibarra.
Yes.
Burrows.
Yes.
Garrett.
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. All right. Which brings us to item B, which is the approval of the Charter Commission rules and procedures. And I will turn the meeting over to Madam Chairwoman Ramsey and let the minutes reflect she was here at 6:04.
Thank you, and I apologize for my tardiness.
All right, we're on agenda item 6B.
The resolution to approve the commission's rules and procedures. All right, thank you. All right, do we have a move in support?
I move that we approve the Charter Commission rules and procedures.
Support.
Moved by Williams, supported by Ybarra. Sorry,
E.
Ibar.
Ybarra.
Yeah.
Discussion. Garrett.
I'm sorry,
No, you can go ahead, Garrett. Gil.
Commissioner Scott.
You can go first. I'll go second.
I just wanted to say I had an opportunity to go over those minutes, and I want to commend the board for commissioners for pushing through that and just making it user friendly. And I look forward to doing the work.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I did have one comment, and I apologize for not being able to show up last month. I had a family issue, but the only concern I had when I was reading through was on the committee business section, which is page 3, is just because we have 4 standing committees, the requirement currently as it stands is that the committees will meet each committee will meet at least monthly. I feel like that may be a little, I don't want to get to a place where we are meeting so often that, or like that, each committee is meeting so often, or we have to meet 4 different committees have to meet, monthly. So I'd rather have that, say, maybe some grace there, like, as schedule determined by the committee of some sort. That's the only thing that I was concerned about as we were thinking about, as I was reading through. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That's not my role.
Go right ahead.
Well, I think the at least would give us that, opportunity to increase.
I was more referring to if we needed
Too
to
many.
cancel. Yeah.
the time.
So, more like if meeting once a month, we may have times where we don't need to meet at all in a month on certain committees. And so I'd rather, with that, we couldn't cancel a meeting once a month if we'd be breaking the rules if we were canceling a meeting or didn't need to meet.
And I think we did have that discussion. That was a part of the conversation that we had. I'll go to Garrett and then Williams.
Oh, no, continue the discussion, because I saw the word shall, I'm sorry, so that would make it obligated to meet at least once a month.
Right.
Okay, Williams.
Yeah, I was just trying to, for clarity's sake, we're on page 3 of 5 on the minutes, under committee business. So I just want to bring that to clarity.
Okay. I do believe that was a concern when we had this conversation originally, that there may be times where we either don't have enough people or there's no reason to meet. So I think what we need to do is just change the shall, to make it more optional.
Yeah. Yep. Or we could say something like as determined by the committee, like shall meet as determined by the committee. I do like having a kind of set time frame in there, but I think, either we change that quick language or we can say as determined by the committee. Since I do know on here, as we meet, after we meet, we have to figure out a scope of work anyway for folks to bring it back to this group. So that was whatever way we want to go, I'm comfortable with. I just wanted to give us some options.
No, I appreciate that. Can you state it the way that
Sure.
you just said it?
Yes. So I would say committees shall meet as determined by the committee membership.
So once again, on page 3 of 5 of the rules, under committee business, it will say committee shall meet as determined by members. Is that where we're gonna say that at?
Yeah. And all meetings shall be properly. Yeah.
And all meetings
Yep.
shall be properly noticed. Okay, yeah, right there.
So I amend my motion to include the new language.
Motion was that?
It was the motion to approve the rules,
Yep.
as they stood, but now he is amending that to approve the rules with the new language for committee business.
Did we determine how to phrase that?
Yes, it will be, the committee shall meet, I missed something.
As determined by
As
the
determined by members. And all meetings shall be properly noticed in accordance to the Open Meetings Act.
And
Sure.
Yes,
Right.
I'm sorry.
when we were forming, I thought at our last meeting, we discussed, the chair, appointing chairpersons for those, OMI meetings. And, I thought we said volunteer or looking at, who would be best fitted for that.
Yeah, we that's in the section
under discussions.
ahead, under committee creation and assignments. The chair shall have the authority. That's
3 of
page
5.
3 of 5.
Yeah,
So you're
it's in
two.
red on my
Yeah, you're
computer.
two places up
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
on the rules.
Red, right.
For you
Yep.
guys too.
So are we still doing that?
The only thing that I asked to change was the frequency of the meeting language. that says that committees should read every month. We went through all the rest of the rules last month. Mr. Stewart wasn't here, and that was the point he was bringing up, that he wanted to change.
So what you're speaking to is the chair shall have the authority to establish additional, yes. Yes, shall, that's the second sentence. The chair shall be authorized to appoint persons to preside over or serve on such committee. So that was added.
Okay. I thought we discussed for volunteers, and could we put if, anyone volunteers for that?
Well, I think it was to give me the discretion, because I would ask people to volunteer before I appointed them.
Okay.
But I think it was so that I could have the discretion, because if no one volunteered, then I would still need to appoint. Any other questions, comments, or concerns regarding the rules and procedures of the commission?
Madam Chair, can I just hear the motion that's on?
The
And I apologize for being late.
No,
Uh,
good.
so there was a,
Motion to approve the commission rules and procedures.
And then
with the
amend it.
Amended to add the language about the frequency of the subcommittee meetings.
Thank you.
And it still needs a second, because
I
I
think
moved it.
it was already seconded.
Right.
The
Your
amendment,
amended.
yeah, my amended
Okay.
version needs to be seconded.
I'll second.
Okay. So the amended was given by Williams and seconded by Stewart. With the new language for committee business, page 3 of 5, that says committee shall meet as determined by members, and all meetings shall be properly properly noticed in accordance with the Open Meeting Act. And that was the only change.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Turpin,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Garrett,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Payne.
Yeah.
9-0.
All right, we will move to discussion of committees. So we have listed out 4 committees. It is the Rules and Planning Committee, Outreach Committee, Personnel Committee, and Research Committee. Is the discussion for us to volunteer for these committees, or to, because we've already talked about what these committees do, right?
Right, so you're at your volunteer stage.
Yeah, okay. So the purpose of this discussion is for individuals to volunteer to be a part of these committees.
So, okay. I don't know what's going on today. I think y'all missed me. I think that's what it was, because y'all look too quiet. So let's go ahead and get this thing going.
All right.
So, it is to
Volunteer.
volunteer for,
Committee.
which ones you want to volunteer for,
Yes.
or which ones?
You want to volunteer for?
Oh, okay. Can I get a brief description? Because I wasn't here when,
Yes.
of what they were. 'Cause-
It's on 3
They-
of 3.
well, when you, it's on 3 of 3 when you started, but
3 of 5, I mean.
There's also the other two. Where
So the
Oh.
rules.
Oh,
in
let me-
2,
two of
page
5,
2.
at the
Okay.
bottom of 2 of 5. So the Rules and Planning Committee would be to make sure that we're adhering to the rules and procedures that we currently made. The outreach is to organize the presentations for the community engagement phase of the commission. The personnel is to help interview candidates or firms that we would be hiring to assist us with the commission, the charter. In the research, we talked about is to complete task. It was more of finding, looking for other things that we may be missing. Our charter was old on how ways we can update it, and not just thinking that we had to stick to exactly what we have now. So doing that research and bringing that information back to the commission to discuss and to vote on as a part of the charter.
Okay, thank you. Just for that bit of clarity. So I like to volunteer for the personnel committee. It's not chairing. This is what we would like to do.
Yeah, for right now, I
Right.
cannot promise anything.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what
It's
I'm
too late
talking.
because you said it. So
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. The outreach. Is it 2 or just like? Did y'all decide to say, hey,
We have-
each?
No.
No?
So I would prefer to have at least 3 people, right? So we can have, if y'all need to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if you could give us 2
Okay.
committees, that would be great.
Okay. For Commissioner Garrett, Personnel Committee, and Research Committee.
Payne,
Well, the two gentlemen there, Christians over there were.
I'm gonna just start looking at y'all. I'm sorry.
Always looking away from us, Tamika.
Okay.
No, thank you, Jeff. Whoever wants to go.
Yeah, we'll go there.
So Commissioner Ibarra would like to request to be on the research committee as a priority, and then a second, third committee, if those do not follow, would be outreach. And my final preference would be personnel, in that order.
Okay, thank you for the order. Stewart,
My preference would also be research committee. Fits my background. And then probably outreach is second as well.
Killian, I'm sorry, Payne.
Outreach committee and personnel committee.
Killian,
Personnel committee and the outreach committee.
Turpin,
Well, my preference was research, but you just throw me where you got to throw me in the rest of them.
okay, thank you.
He said
Burrows,
research.
outreach.
Okay.
Williams,
Preference would be, I guess, personnel, and then I can do rules and planning since everybody else is research.
am I able to sit on some of these?
You're the ex
Do what
officio
you want to
chair.
do.
You sit around.
You the chair.
Oh, I just can't chair, right?
I said you can do what you want to do. You the chair.
Okay, well, thank you.
Mother Goose. You can-
Okay, so I will also do rules and planning because there's nobody else there. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrows, I didn't hear your
He said outreach and research.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I didn't either.
No. Yeah, I think everything else is. I'll do outreach as well. All right, so for rules and planning, we have Williams and Ramsey. For outreach, we have, say your last name again, Jose. 'Cause Ibarra. I'm gonna get that. I don't know why today I can't. Stewart, Payne, Killian, Burrows, and Williams.
No, you said those, that wasn't.
That's not outreach. No,
No,
you did personnel.
Right.
Oh, I wrote Williams instead of Ramsey. Okay. Personnel, Garrett, Payne, Killian, and Williams. Research, Garrett, Ibarra, Stewart, Turpin, and Burrows.
Did you say for personnel too?
Personnel, Garrett, Payne, Killian, and Williams.
Okay.
You said that too? Go ahead.
I would just like to. I remember saying that or I remember, if I remember correctly, the subcommittees have to be less than a quorum.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. So it's 9 of us, so it has to be less than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank
to
you.
be
1,
4.
2, 3, 4.
It has to be less than 5.
Less than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I will take myself off of outreach. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5. And I think everything else is less than 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, is everybody good with that? Yes. Garrett is also on rules and planning. All right, you good?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Are you good, eh?
No, I just wanted to make sure that she had everything.
That's a lot, that's why.
Yes, but we have everybody on here. So who moved it? Was it moved?
Nobody.
No.
We were
Okay.
just
This is just
saying.
discussion.
This was
so-
just discussion.
So this is not an action item, because you also need to then look at who has volunteered for these committees, and then assign who the chair people will be.
Oh, that's so true.
So that's probably gonna take you some time to think about and make sure it's balanced.
Table up.
Yeah.
But it's not to table it. it's
No, I just got to
table
figure out
for
who's going to
discussion.
be the, yeah.
Cool.
Ms. Payne has her hand up.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I guess, I was just thinking, we have the definition down, but not the task. And I'm wondering if we all come together to talk about, it's just a thought, talk about, what tasks would fall under these, committees.
Williams.
That way
Yeah.
we
No.
have a better way of deciding what we want to be on. And I think that we said that once we get into the committees, that we would also do that. But then that's just a few of us that will be making those tasks.
Thank you. Williams.
Yes, and I understand where Commissioner Payne is. I think that as the committees form, we also need to be open to having ad hoc committees to do specific things if needed. So each committee is not going to be a catch-all to everything, but there may be something that falls outside of it, and it's not necessarily outreach. It might just be a marketing thing that needs to happen, and so they might do something different. But I think that because we only meet formally here once a month, it would be good for the committees to actually form, because I think with the scope of the work, people really kind of self-selected where they had an interest, and then by putting those together, I would love to see what the committees come back with, and then if those things are not addressed or we see some big gaps, then maybe we create an ad hoc committee or add a committee to what we're doing in order to catch some stuff.
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying, Commissioner Williams, is that the committees, the subcommittees will determine what their tasks are. And then once we come back and everybody explains what the subcommittee's tasks are, if there are gaps, then we can create ad hoc committees to catch those gaps. Okay.
Does that make sense, Ms. Payne?
No, that wasn't for me. I would definitely.
So I think, so I'm on one committee, rules and planning. I wouldn't want you to determine what it is that I'm going to do if you're not a part of that committee. So I think it's really important to give the commissioners the power to create their task and what they think needs to be done. I also understand that we also have the right, if there are gaps, to create something to catch those gaps. But I wouldn't want to tell you what to do in any of the committees that you're in without me being in those committees.
And my thought on this is that if you have committees, there should already be tasks under here. And that was one of my concerns from the very beginning, that we're doing like 1 or 2 lines without going into details and explaining certain things. Because if you read something and then you have to question what that is about, it means that we have not put a clear, understanding and detail within that. It's just too short and simple for me.
Well, I
Because
will.
we have to make this not just for us, but for others that come along also. That's my.
So I appreciate that, but I think for me, I felt comfortable because both Stuart and Garrett were not here, and they were able to read it. I gave any clarification, but they were able to understand exactly what it is. I think about research committee. People do research different ways. They handle it different ways, and I would not want to tell anybody how I would do it, and thus they should do it that way. So I think giving the commissioners agency, and once again, they can come back and say, this is what we said we need to do in this committee. And we can say, this is a gap that I see. Can you add that to that committee, or can we create an ad hoc committee? But let me give it to Stuart.
Yeah, I also think that, my hope is that we'll meet in those committees prior to our next meeting, and at that next meeting, I think we can have a discussion if we need to change those tasks. I think that's where I do notice your point as well, Commissioner, that I think having at least a say or some ability to say, like, hey, I think this could be also something that committee does in a full group is helpful as well. So I think that description can be created from that specific committee when they meet, and then can come back to that full group at that next meeting and say, here's what we came up with. This is the full description. Is this comfortable with all of the committee, all of the Charter Commission? And I think that is a way to solve that without getting too nitty gritty into the rules and procedures, but having those separate pieces that we can approve.
Thank you, Turpin.
Well, basically, during the course of your deliberations, certain questions will come up, and it may not be efficient for us to have the solution discussed as a group.
People, yeah.
So, as a chair and as a unit, we will assign certain tasks to these committees based on what their areas of expertise are to be, and they'll go out and research whatever the question may be and bring it back to us, so that we can make a reasonable decision.
Thank you.
So basically, it's just designed to help us reach out, find persons to come in and speak on an issue. It's difficult for me to just look at these names and understand specifically what that function is supposed to be. But obviously, there's things that need to be researched. There are personnel out there that could bring information to us, and these committees are designed to sort of facilitate all that sort of behavior.
Thank you. Williams?
Yeah, I think I now understand what Ms. Payne is saying. If there was deeper descriptions, she may select a different committee. So maybe what we should do is allow the flexibility that next month when they come back, if somebody wants to be on a different committee, then they can raise that point then, so they wouldn't just be locked into their decision today. So that would be my thought process. I'm pretty fine with the committees I'm on, but it might be somebody that hears something after they actually meet and say, I will be much better on outreach than I am on rules and procedures, and allow them to have that flexibility so we don't get bogged down.
No, thank you for that as well.
I guess my question, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Go right ahead.
So with these committees, are there any other cities with this committee, or is this just, is this an outline of charter committees, or is this something, where did this information come from? Did it come from the state of Michigan?
I don't know. I think these are committees that have been used with other municipalities. And there are a lot more committees that have been created. We just whittled it down to these 4.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay. So then we can move to D because there is no vote on that, correct?
Correct.
All right. So scheduling of the first listening session. And so one of the things that we talked about and decided is to have community engagement along the way as we do the charter. And before we start to dig into it, we wanted to have a listening session to see where the community was. I feel like it has it on here, but then wouldn't that be a part of the outreach committee? Now I guess I'm a little confused with that.
He wanted it on the agenda. Williams.
Okay. Okay, Stuart.
Yeah, I think that's a great task for the outreach committee to assist with scheduling,
I guess.
and then creating maybe a schedule around that
Trying to say.
as well.
Williams.
Yeah, I think we just needed to have the discussion to find out what day or days would work for most people for the outreach. We already know that some people will not be able to do any kind of daytime or weekend meetings because of their schedules, but just being able to give it to the outreach committee and maybe giving them 4 days or something that will work, and they can come back to the group and say, this is what we want to do, and not kind of infringe on people.
I appreciate that. I feel like that's like herding cats, but I think if that's what we say we're going to do right now. So we're asking for just a few days to give to the outreach committee so that they will know our availability. Stuart?
I have a question. I was thinking about will this be the official formal session, right, of the board? Like it will be an initial quorum session of the Charter Commission. Is that what we're planning for this specific one? Because I know there was a talk about like other outreach opportunities where it would not be a quorum, but would still be a listening session. So just curious on thoughts.
My thoughts would that it would be a formal meeting,
Okay.
Because I think if we're asking, especially for our first meeting,
Yes.
asking for community engagement, we would all. I wouldn't want to tell people they couldn't come,
Yeah.
because we all want to get that input.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I have a question, and then I will go to you, Turpin. Could we make next month's meeting a listening session?
Good point.
Absolutely.
Just like drop the mic. Let's go.
Absolutely.
All right,
You're the
Turpin.
boss.
That's basically my issue, is the fact that, you're presenting yourself to the public in some sort of like a location or whatever, and you want them to like express their interests in what the charter should have, things like that. And this committee apparently is one that goes out and gets the word out that we want to go on the road, sort of say. Maybe want to show up at some sort of event that's going on and have people come in and sit down and talk about things that they're interested in. So it's, and the committee helps to facilitate that conversation with the public. And I wouldn't see it as being a formal kind of gathering. I mean, I may not even be able to be there at the time that's most efficacious, so it's important for the majority of us to be able to attend, of course, but it's not necessary for everybody to be there because, during the day might be a more optimum time. Some of these organizations meet during the day, and maybe we want to slip in on one of their meetings and have a conversation with them about what their issues are. So it's in the committee, I suppose, helps to facilitate our reaching these pockets of people,
So I think it can be both and. So we can have the first meeting, our first listening session or community meeting be a formal meeting and have all of us here to listen. And then as the committee, outreach committee gets together, they can start finding those events and those pockets of people to then do outreach to. But so I'm saying it's Jose, it's Scott, it's Lucy, it's Brian, it's Norbert. I want to be there. So if I'm there, then that's messing up the quorum. I'm sure Kermit and Gil wants to come. So people especially for our first listening session, I don't want to make barriers for anybody who wants to come. So the first one I think would be good to be a formal meeting so that all of us can be here and engage. And then after that, the outreach committee can then go and find those pockets, and then we attend if we can, and if we can't, it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yep.
Williams.
I make a motion that our next meeting be the first listening session.
I second.
So it is a motion on the floor that what month is this?
October.
It would be October.
October. This is October?
No, this is
No,
September.
September.
meeting
So
would
our
be
October meeting, okay, thank you. Our October meeting would be our first listening session. And then that's the motion on the floor. So it has been moved by Williams and supported by Killian. Discussion on that.
And that date would be the 28th, right? The fourth Thursday.
I don't even know what month it is,
So-
sir.
I have a discussion point. How do you prime the pump for that meeting?
That's what I was getting ready.
You know,
So-
you need to inspire thought so that when they come down here, they have considered issues that we're confronted with that they may want to address.
So I think, are you done? Because I can respond.
No, but that's basically it. How do we prime the pump so that people come down and they have specific things they want to engage us with?
So I think we can do that in several different ways. One, I think we can come to the city council meeting, we can go to the school board meeting, we can start individually, we can start being ambassadors to getting people out. We're not gonna get everybody at one fall swoop, right? But this is just the start of that. And then, once again, when we start doing those individual outreach, and then hopefully people will understand that we're actually here, and more people will start attending the meetings in real time and giving us responses in real time.
Well, that's a good answer, because I wanted to recognize the fact you just don't say, okay, we're going to have this meeting and y'all show up. We have to inspire the community to be engaged in that meeting. And so, there's work to be done in that month.
Yes, I do that for my day job.
Yeah, Lucy.
Boroughs, and then,
Okay.
Now, I just have a question on, how would that look like? Do we take notes? Do they just hey, I got this problem, then we write it down? Or how would that look?
How would it be facilitated?
Yeah, how would that
That's a
look?
good question.
yeah, so I think, and once again, me thinking doesn't set anything in stone. I'm very flexible. But I think it is making comments. First of all, it is how we put it out there. What is this? This is a listening session. So we want y'all to come to this meeting and tell us in the charter what you felt worked, what you felt didn't work, what we might be missing, and give us your thoughts and feedback. And then we can do it public comment. So they would sign up and they would have questions. We would be taking notes. We would make sure that we're asking follow-up questions and having a dialogue. It's not just them talking to us or us talking to them. It's a conversation to get feedback and input. And then as we start to create the charter, implementing some of that feedback, and then making sure that people understand that when you give us feedback, we actually use it. Does that answer your question? Yes, okay. Garrett, and then Payne.
Since we started this process, I've been carefully kind of listening to some of the charter topics that people have been discussing, whether it's been in the community or mainly here at City Hall. So Councilwoman James, at Tuesday's meeting, brought up something as far as parks being sold or pieces of parks being used. And some of those, when you diminish parkland, we're not eligible for certain grants and things of that nature. Now, I'm not a big component of having a city with just all parks, but also I do like nice parks, right? So that being a topic that she had wanted to discuss being put in the charter as a rule not to sell parkland, would that be something, I'm just using that for an example, not saying, would that be something that we could use as a group or some individual commissioner say, hey, listen, if you're interested about the parks of not selling parkland, things of that nature, come down to this meeting, X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Second part, recreational marijuana. If you're interested in recreational marijuana, what do you think that looks like in the charter? Are you interested about that? Say anything or heard it somewhere else? Can you come down to this meeting and give your feedback? Those are the type of things that you're saying to help, if I may, Dr. Turpin, say prime the pump, or are you saying get folks to come out to the meeting? Is that what I'm
I
thinking
would
that
say
be?
yes. I would
Yeah.
say yes.
All right.
All of those things plus
Okay.
more. Anything else, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Payne?
Oh, I was just going to say that I thought at the beginning that's what we were doing, the committees were to come up with, because now we're trying to come up with, what do we say, detailing as to how we're going to actually run the listening session, and if we're outreach, seems like that should be something that outreach should be researching and doing, and then come back. So are we doing this a little bit too soon before we learn how we're going to, or have ideas, how we're going to actually set this up for next month?
Well, I think because it's a both and, we can have a formal meeting that we're running, and the outreach committee can then design how they want the rest of the outreach going out into the community. This wouldn't be considered an outreach meeting because
Okay.
we're not going anywhere, right? We're having
Okay.
people come to our formal meeting. But I do think the outreach committee would create what they feel like outreach events look like, how we present there, who's presenting, and it would be the committee who creates that.
Okay, so how do we engage the residents to come to the meeting for that?
For the outreach committee,
Right.
Well,
No,
the-
for the scheduling, listening.
our meeting
How do
next
we-
month.
Do you think that we'll have enough time to get that out there?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Burrows and then Williams. Okay. Ibarra.
Maybe just to help out with the community, we establish some sort of talking points for people, like what would you like us to research? What would you like, like how you said, what do you feel the rules and planning is? How do you feel the rules are currently in today's time and whatnot? So just giving them 2 or 3 talking points as we are promoting the listening session. Yeah, that's just giving them some talking points.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
I thought Williams, what did you say?
No, he said he didn't
Oh.
want to. All right, I call for the vote. And this would be the vote to make our next meeting, which is October, what y'all say?
27th.
10/27.
Oh,
A listening session.
Stewart,
Yes.
Turpin,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows,
Yes.
Garrett,
yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Ramsey.
Yes.
8-0.
All right, was there any public comment?
No.
All right. Would you like to make comments, sir? No, you're fine, okay. All right, well, Garrett.
Okay, I have a question. So, and maybe we don't have this on here, but maybe outreach committee would be a part of marketing, as far as like flyer designs, things of that nature, media, presentations, whatever. Do we have a person to do that, or is that something that we would do as a
Good question.
commission, or is that where something will be designed to go out X, Y, and Z. I'm not sure. I mean, and it may not just be for this, but I'm just saying
In
ongoing in general.
Yeah.
Like, do we have that person?
Williams.
Or
Yeah, I think we should check with the,
I'm sorry.
with the clerk's office and see what they use and have at their disposal first. And then if we need to bolster what is there or create it, then we probably need to have that discussion, and that probably will fall under personnel if we had somebody that did flyer design or whatever, just so we would know and we could track the budget.
Yeah.
My second question would be, I know we've all used photos for advertisements in our own individual, but as a commission, we haven't taken a group photo or individual professional headshots. So I want to donate those services so that we have them, that if you want to use your professional headshot in anything that you may do as far as the charter commission is concerned, that you have a professional headshot, and I can schedule that with Madam Clerk or times, and that you can come to City Hall, have it quickly done, and then you use that, or we use that as part of whatever pamphlets we may come out with and whatever they may need it for. But I just thought that would be
I appreciate
great
that.
idea. Okay.
Thank you. I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Burrows?
I just want to make some clarification on the listening session. So listening session, we get feedback from the community. One of the things that the research team, I guess, would do is kind of research some of that feedback
Yes.
that we get from them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's it.
Thank you. All right, we can do closing comments. Does anyone have closing comments? We could just end the meeting. All right. It's been moved
A second.
and seconded to end the meeting.
Who moved?
Turpin
You did.
quietly moved.
I did not hear you. Second.
Stewart,
Okay.
Also the quiet one.
Both of
really?
y'all. Turpin,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Ibarra,
Yes.
Burrows, Garrett,
Yes.
Hayne,
Yes.
Ramsey,
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 7:46.
48.
Jesus, 6:48. Thank you.
All right. Now,